Hi, I'm Miss Lavodi, and today we're going to make Impressionist style digital paintings. Here's an example of what you can create by the end of this video. We'll be using the app Tayasui Sketches Pro for iPad. Start by selecting an image that you would like to turn into an Impressionist digital painting. You can also work from a photograph that you have already taken. It's always a good idea to pick something that is original if you have the ability to do so. Once you find the image you like, locate your picture on your device and crop into it. Crop into the most important, interesting area of your picture. You don't need to make your digital painting have everything in it that you see in your original photograph. So I've cropped mine into a square, and now I'm going to open up Tayasui Sketches Pro. I'm going to make a new sketch page on a blank white paper, and I'm going to make a new layer by clicking the layer icon and the plus sign, and go to photo and add my photograph in. I'm going to scale it up. It might look a little pixelated depending on the size of the picture you found. I'm adding the new plus sign, new layer, and from here I'm going to click the gear icon. I want to make the picture more transparent, so I'm tapping the gear and I am dragging the opacity down so that way the image is more see-through. This makes it more lighter so I can draw over the photograph and still be able to select the colors that I see in the photograph. On a new layer on top of your photo layer, you are going to use the brush tool and start to outline the main shapes of the image. This is going to kind of act as a coloring book page for us, so that way we'll know where we want our color to be contained within. And then later we can go into this outline layer and we can erase away the outlines that we don't want to see anymore. So I'm working my way around the butterfly so I can get all the details of the lines in the wings. This will be especially helpful because I can make another color layer under this butterfly and still have the outline. So I won't have to worry about my color and the outline being on that same layer where the colors will, merge into the outline. So I'm going through the butterfly, and then I'm working my way around outlining the flowers as well. And again, when I do the flowers, I'm just looking for big main shapes. It's not going to look too pretty. These are just going to be guideline shapes for me to fill inside of, and the flower outlines will get erased into by the end of the painting. So since this is an Impressionism project, Impressionist style is characterized by capturing the general impression produced by a scene or object, and it will use small brushstrokes to simulate reflected light. So when we start adding color to our painting, we're going to use the acrylic dry brush tool, and we want to select different hues and values of color. So I'm going to make a new layer underneath my outline layer. So I'm holding and dragging that layer under the outline. I'm selecting the acrylic dry brush tool. I hold the screen down where I want to select a color, so I hold and press. That selects color for me, and I'm able to start stamping, dragging out color, making large or small brush strokes, and then I'm just going to go through and pick different shades and values of purple for the purple flowers. I'm using the color picker tool at the bottom of the screen to create different blends of purples. I'm working with my Apple pencil, which allows me to hold the pencil on the side and get a wider brush stroke. Depending on if you have a stylus or not, you might be able to do that as well. If not, if you're just painting with your fingertip, that's totally okay too. Just play around with changing the size and color of your brush strokes and make sure we can see light brush strokes up against dark brush strokes. So I'm painting in all the flower information first, and then I'm going to be painting the butterfly in using a new layer. So I don't want those layers to interact on one layer. I want to keep them separate. So I'm just using a little bit of green for the stem and the leaves here, and then I'm going to move on to the next layer. So I'm making a new layer for the parts of the image that overlap the background. So specifically, this is going to be the butterfly layer. So I have clicked the plus sign, I've held and dragged the layer underneath the outline layer, and now I'm ready to start coloring in the butterfly. I'm starting with black. You'll notice I have some different opacities of black here. That's okay. We do want to maybe see some of the brush strokes in there. I can layer in the white dots on top of this later on. And I'm going to move into some color in the wings. Even within the wings, I want to use different shades of yellow, different shades of oranges to get more brush strokes to be visible in the wings. So now we're going to erase into the outline layer. So you're going to select your eraser tool, and we're going to remove the outlines from the flowers. This is going to really free up the structure of the flower, so it's going to look a lot more in line with Impressionist style. So it looks more freeform, and we can appreciate those brush strokes. If you'd like to merge your layers, you're going to select your layer and drag the top layer into the next one so they can merge together if you'd like to do that. I'm keeping my butterfly and flower layer separate, and I'm adding one more layer for a background. In my background, I'm using a larger brush stroke, and I'm playing around with the direction of these brush strokes. Notice that some of them are curving, some of them are going in diagonals. I'm using different opacities of yellow and selecting different physical colors of yellow, brightness and dullness. From here, I'm just filling in my negative space. You'll notice that the colors and direction of the brush strokes help to show that Impressionist style. When you're almost complete here, you can save your work and export this to your device. And here we have our finished digital Impressionist painting.